Where Have All the Good Times Gone was the B-side of the Kinks' 9th single, Till the End of the Day, which came out in late 1965. The Kinks were still trying to recapture the glory of the previous year's two mighty hits, You Really Got Me and All Day and All of the Night, which put them right behind the Beatles and the Stones in the pecking order of the British beat bands. Till the End of the Day was a return to form, a boisterous rocker that celebrated the freedom felt by mid-60s youth, just as good as the Stones' I'm Free or the Who's Anyway, Anyhow, Anywhere did. The singer doesn't have to overthink his life, he just lives in the glorious now, enjoying the euphoric sensation of doing what he wants. When you flip the record over, however, you get the counterpoint.
In my life I've never stopped to worry about a thing. Opened up and shouted out, never tried to see. Wondering if I've done wrong. Will this depression last for long? Why don't you tell me, where have all the good times gone? Where have all the good times gone?
The Kinks were among the first to capture the recognition that began to set into youth culture at the time. It's not as fun as it used to be. By the end of 1965, the Mods have won. They were the trendsetters for swinging London, and as such were essentially setting trends for the entire world. As a result, their lifestyle was not that special anymore, and did not matter like it did before. The records inspired by Mod style were beginning to repeat themselves, the clothes were beginning to get too fancy, and the entire game of competing to outmod your friends was beginning to feel shallow. For the first time, the singer turns to have a look at his life and wonder if he is doing things wrong.
Once we had an easy ride and always felt the same. Time was on our side and I had everything to gain. Let it be like yesterday. Please let me have happy days.
When you are in the joy of the moment, you think it will last forever. You figure that you have found the way to happiness, and if you just keep doing what you're doing, you will remain happy. But it never lasts, and the singer is left wondering what went wrong, and how can he return to the joy he once knew.
On all the back on all the things they used to do. Didn't have no money, and they always told the truth. Daddy didn't have no toys, and mommy didn't need no boys.
Suddenly, the kid feels closer to his parents. They always told him how good he has it, in the affluent 1960s, and how they had nothing growing up. And yet, they look back with nostalgia on those years, when life seemed truer. He never understood why they don't just live in the now, but now that he feels that the present is not as good as the past, he gets it.
Yesterday was such an easy game for you to play. But let's face it, things are so much easier today. Guess you need some bringing down. Get your feet back on the ground. Why don't you tell me, where have all the good times gone? Where have all the good times gone?
In the last verse, it seems the record is leaving us with some hope. It seems to suggest that we can be happy again, if we accept that our old way has run its course, come down to the ground, take a good look at our life, and change what needs to be changed. Paraphrasing the Beatles' latest single, Yesterday, which is completely about wallowing in the past, it pokes fun at this pathetic stance. Good times are still ahead, if we snap out of it. With this record, the Kinks' music took a turn towards the reflective. Their records would start to offer social commentary, usually from the viewpoint of someone who has dropped out of the modern rat race and just points and laughs at it, giving Ray Davies a chance to employ his wonderfully wry manner of writing and singing. Their next single, dedicated follower of fashion, would outright mock the mod subculture, and they would go on to mock many aspects of English and modern life. The theme of dreaming about the glorious past is a theme that they will return to, and poke fun at, as well as other shortcomings of human nature. This reflective, satirical stance was obviously a big influence on Bowie's writing style. And, of course, the theme of this record is the central theme of his art. The realization that happiness doesn't last is the problem which Bowie took as his main concern, and dealt with in all his albums. As a mod himself, he went through the same process, and the insights achieved during the mod era kept informing his work throughout his career. Ziggy Stardust was his first attempt to present a solution, forming a subculture that from the beginning was meant to be transient, something to enjoy while it lasts, but then ditch and move on. And now that Ziggy was dead and over, the first thing he did was to go back to the source, back to the music of the mod years, and look for new insights. His rendition of Where Have All the Good Times Gone, closing the Pinups album, is a farewell to that period, but also a farewell to the Ziggy period. It was time to come down from the highs of Ziggy, get his feet back on the ground, and start over. It is not only nostalgia, but a wake-up call, and Bowie provides a zestful performance of this quaint number, bringing the album to a satisfying conclusion.